in the land of Canaan. Thus the field and the cave that is in it were deeded to Abraham by the sons of Heth as property for a burial site.
All right, guys. Anybody have any thoughts or concerns, questions? I can answer them all. I kid. All right.
I don't like your accent.
My accent.
Well, Abraham, in Genesis 15 was given this land by God, and it shows how he knew that the land was going to be given to him as an inheritance upon the resurrection, because even though God had promised him this land, he still went to another man and said, "Hey, I'm a foreigner in this land. Can I buy this property?" And he didn't come at him and say, "This is my rightful land. You guys are here by sedition," or anything like that. So it shows how faithful he was and how he knew about the kingdom of God to come, and how it was a future inheritance versus something in the here and now.
Nice. I didn't even catch that or think about that.
And this man, people knew who Abraham was too. This man was trying to just give it to him, probably out of respect for him, which I find fascinating too. And I think it's in Hebrews 11 maybe, where it says that this might have been one of the tests that Abraham went through, where God tested him over certain instances in his life. Or maybe it's in Jubilees. I can't remember. I was trying to briefly go through Hebrews 11. That's where it talks about faith. But now that I'm saying that, I think it might be in Jubilees, where it talks about the different tests that Abraham went through. And I think I remember reading that this was one of the tests that he went through also, and he proved to be faithful throughout all the tests that he was tested on.
Nice. That might be fun to go back through here in a little bit when we're done going through the portions, because I should be able to bring them up at like sacredtext.com, Jubilees, or something like that. We could reference it. Check it. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? All right. Where's my mouse? There it is.
Bereshit, chapter 24. And Avraham was old, advanced in years, and Yahweh had blessed Avraham in every way. And Avraham said to the oldest servant of his house, who ruled over all that he had, "Please put your hand under my thigh, so that I make you swear by Yahweh, the Elohim of the heavens and the Elohim of the earth, that you do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but to go to my land and to my relatives, and take a wife for my son Yitzchak." And the servant said to him, "What if the woman refuses to follow me to this land? Do I then take your son back to the land from which you came?" And Abraham said to him, "Beware lest you take my son back there. Yahweh, Elohim of the heavens, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my relatives, and who spoke to me and swore to me, saying, 'To your seed I give this land,' he sends his messenger before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. And if the woman refuses to follow you, then you shall be released from this oath. Only do not take my son back there." Then the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 of his master's camels and left, for all his master's good gifts were in his hand. And he arose and went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. And he made his camels kneel down outside the city by a fountain of water at evening time, the time when women go out to draw water. And he said, "Yahweh, Elohim of my master Abraham, please cause her to meet before me this day, and show loving commitment to my master Abraham. See, I am standing here by the fountain of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Now let it be that the young woman to whom I say, 'Please let down your jar to let me drink,' and she says, 'Drink and let me water your camels too,' let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Yitzchak, and let me know by this that you have shown loving commitment to my master. And it came to be, before he had ended speaking, that see, Rivkah, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her jar on her shoulder. And the young woman was very good looking, a maiden, no man having known her. And she went down to the fountain, filled her jar, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her, and said, Please let me drink a little water from your jar. And she said, Drink, my master. And she hurried and let her jar down to her hand, and gave him a drink. And when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, Let me draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking. And she hurried and emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the fountain to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And watching her, the man remained silent, in order to know whether Yahweh had prospered his way or not. And it came to be, when the camels had finished drinking, that the man took a golden nose ring weighing 1/2 shekel, and 2 bracelets for her wrists weighing 10 shekels of gold, and said, Whose daughter are you? Please inform me. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? And she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, Milcah's son, whom she bore to Nahor. And she said to him, We have both straw and fodder enough, and room to spend the night. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped Yahweh, and he said, Blessed be Yahweh, Elohim of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his loving commitment and his truth toward my master. As for me, being on the way, Yahweh led me to the house of my master's brothers. Then the young woman ran and informed those of her mother's house these matters. And Rivkah had a brother whose name was Lavan, and Lavan ran out to the man to the fountain. And it came to be, when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrists, and when he heard the words of his sister Rivkah, saying, Thus the man spoke to me, that he went to the man and saw him standing by the camels at the fountain. And he said, Come in, O blessed of Yahweh. Why do you stand outside? I myself have prepared the house and a place for the camels. So the man came into the house while he unloaded the camels, and provided straw and fodder for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men who were with him, and set food before him to eat. But he said, Let me not eat until I have spoken my word. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Yahweh has blessed my master exceedingly, and he has become great. And he has given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old, and he has given to him all that he has. And my master made me swear, saying, Do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I dwell, but go to my father's house and to my relatives, and take a wife for my son. And I said to my master, What if the woman does not follow me? But he said to me, Yahweh, before whom I walk, sends his messenger with you, and shall prosper your way. And you shall take a wife for my son from my relatives and from my father's house. Then, when you go to my relatives, you are to be released from this oath. And if they do not give her to you, then you are released from my oath. And this day I came to the fountain and said, Yahweh, Elohim of my master Abraham, please, if you are prospering the way in which I am going, see, I am standing by the fountain of water. And when the young woman comes out to draw water, and I say to her, Please give me a little water from your jar to drink, and she says to me, Drink, and let me draw for your camels too. Let her be the woman whom Yahweh has appointed for my master's son. I had not yet ended speaking in my heart. Then see, Rivkah was coming out with her jar on her shoulder, and she went down to the fountain and drew water. And I said to her, Please let me drink. And she hurried and let her jar down from her shoulder and said, Drink, and let me water your camels too. So I drank, and she watered the camels too. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter are you? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the nose ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrists. And I bowed my head and worshipped Yahweh, and blessed Yahweh, Elohim of my master Abraham, who had led me in the true way to take the daughter of my master's brother for his son. And now, if you are going to show loving commitment and truth to my master, let me know, and if not, let me know, so that I turn to the right or to the left. And Lavan answered, Bethuel too, and said, The matter comes from Yahweh. We are not able to speak to you either evil or good. See, Rivkah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as Yahweh has spoken. And it came to be, when Abraham's servant heard their words, that he bowed himself towards the earth before Yahweh. And the servant brought out ornaments of silver, and ornaments of gold, and garments, and gave them to Rivkah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. And he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night. When they arose in the morning, he said, "Let me go to my master." But her brother and her mother said, "Let the young woman stay with us a few days, at least 10, then you go." And he said to them, "Do not delay me, since Yahweh has prospered my way. Let me go, so that I go to my master." And they said, "Let us call the young woman and ask her." So they called Rivkah and said to her, "Are you going with this man?" And she said, "I shall go." So they let Rivkah go, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And they blessed Rivkah and said to her, "Let our sister become the mother of thousands of 10,000s, and let your seed possess the gates of those who hate them." And Rivkah and her young women arose, and they rode on camels and followed the man. So the servant took Rivkah and left. And Yitzchak came from the way of Be'er Lachai Roi, for he dwelt in the south. And Yitzchak went out to meditate in the field in the evening. And he lifted his eyes and looked, and saw the camels coming. And Rivkah lifted her eyes, and when she saw Yitzchak, she dismounted from her camel. And she had said to the servant, "Who is this man walking in the field to meet us?" And the servant said, "It is my master." So she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Yitzchak all the matters he had done. And Yitzchak brought her into his mother Sarah's tent. And he took Rivkah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. Thus Yitzchak was comforted after his mother's death.
Oh, there's a few more people in here. Hey, Sophie. Oh, hey, Brian.
Hi.
Good to have you guys. So, anybody got? That was a long chapter. Has anybody got anything to speculate on, or?
Well, it says that I lost my page. Just a second. It says that in it's chapter 24:7. He says, "He will send his angel before you, and you will take a wife for my son from there." And then he also repeats himself that the angel goes before him in verse 40. So I'm curious whether or not this is just like whether or not he was there in physical form, actually walking with him and the men that went with him, or if it was just like a supernatural where he was just watching over them and their journeys. But I kind of here recently I've been kind of thinking that he may have been there as a person, like tangible, where you could touch this angel and he walked with the servant and the men. But it could just be where he was just protecting them in the spirit realm.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I feel like he might have been walking with him.
Could have been one of those dual things where it meant both. That we see that I think a lot. What's your thoughts, Deezer? Well, let's play out here in the headlights then. No. All right. Oh, yeah? Yeah. I like it. It's kind of soothing, Could be a lot worse. It could be in like an Australian accent.
It doesn't bother me. I like it.
For sure.
In verses 57 through 58, for all those feminists out there, she had total consent. They asked her if she was willing to go with this man, and she told them yes. So she wasn't forced into an arranged marriage. She wasn't forced against her will to make this decision.
I think she's saying that we don't have to worry about cancel culture canceling Genesis 24.
Exactly. I'm just gonna point that out, that she had free will in this, and she was a hard worker too, because she'd go out, and feed the flock.
Whoa.
This
Whoa.
woman does. Yes, this
Whoa.
woman.
See, woman, I'll come in there.
And I like how when they blessed her that she would become may you, our sister, become thousands of 10,000s, and may your descendants possess the gate of those who hate them. So
Mhm.
they must know what the covenant between Abraham and God is, to be able to bless her this type of blessing, to know that she's bringing forth a nation of people that will come into covenant with God.
Definitely.
I have not. I've never looked into that or heard about it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that either. I don't remember. Must have been in another reading or something you were doing.
Another thing I'd like to point out is maybe when Isaac saw her and she covered herself, and then they went into the tent and became husband and wife. I
Mhm.
wonder, like it's when you, excuse me, when you read it, it sounds like he just grabs her, takes her into a tent, and makes her his wife. But I wonder if this wasn't as quick as it sounds. Like, I wonder if there was a ceremony, or if it really was just the consummation of the relationship without any kind of gathering of people. Like a wedding ceremony is what I'm talking about.
Gotcha. Anybody else think she has consent or didn't have consent? I mean, we got to say she did give her consent. Otherwise, cancel culture will get us, along with "Baby, It's Cold Outside."
Oh, well, we don't have to say it because we don't have to say anything. We can let the verses speak for themselves, because
Ooh,
it says that.
bam. Oh. All right, we're just going to be going through verse 18 here on this. So let me cue up the audio, unless you guys have any other thoughts. Don't freeze. There we go. I'm playing it off my Google Drive. I've had the scriptures audio for some time now. And I just have one. No, I wish. Yeah, I had to download it separately. So there it is. Did you lose my audio? My bad. Let's start the audio over. What about now? Yikes. Oh, maybe I accidentally closed out of the screen share. Yeah, somehow I did. Yeah, bear with me here. All right. And now you should be able to hear it now that I'm actually sharing it.
Bereshit, chapter 25. And Abraham took another wife, whose name was Keturah, and she bore him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Yishbak, and Shubach. And Yokshan brought forth Sheva and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, and Letushim, and Leumim. And the sons of Midian were Ephah, and Epher, and Chanoch, and Avida, and Eldaah. And these were the children of Keturah. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Yitzchak, but to the sons of the concubines whom Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living, and sent them away from his son Yitzchak eastward to the land of the east. And these are all the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 175 years. And Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age, aged and satisfied, and was gathered to his people. And his sons, Yitzchak and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Tzuchar the Hittite, the field which Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried with Sarah his wife. And it came to be, after the death of Abraham, that Elohim blessed his son Yitzchak, and Yitzchak dwelt at Be'er Lachai Roi. And this is the genealogy of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Mitzrian, Sarah's female servant, bore to Abraham. And these were the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nevaioth, then Kedar, and Avbeel, and Mivsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Hadar, and Tema, Yetur, Naphish, and Kedema. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these were their names by their towns and their settlements, 12 chiefs according to their tribes. And these were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. And they dwelt from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Mitzrayim, as you go toward Ashur. He settled before all his brothers.
All right, that concludes the last little bit of the Torah portion readings. No
That was
thoughts?
quick.
Yeah, it was quick.
What's the other, the one, the alike? Where were we finding the alike? The alike verses like what reference to in the other places in the Bible. Where was that at?
You mean the treasury of scriptural knowledge? That's like if you're wanting to like see what other verses are about in the Bible on a particular verse, let me know and we can pull that up.
Well, I just want to know where we've
Sounds like
seen
he's
it.
talking about the TSK commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to pull up videos and play a video?
I sure can.
I think if
Only if
we
you're not the referencer.
What video are you wanting to play? I can stop and then you can share a video from your screen.
I think you'd be able to find it faster. You know the
She's
video,
on her phone, but I could do it if she comes in here.
Just what video is it? Should I look it up or do you want to send me a link or what?
the one where I just thought maybe it might be a nice addition to show that Genesis is a summation of these events.
Okay,
and
what
that
video?
There's a reason for it, and it's because there's like a code within the first 5 books of the Bible.
Okay. Do Do you want to send me a
Um,
link to it, or tell me what channel it's on, or a description or something?
I'll look. I thought you would know off the top of your head. That's why I was bringing it up. But I'll
Oh,
look for it.
gotcha. Sorry, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure what video you're talking about either.
Oh, the Chuck
Oh, yeah,
Missler
yeah, Chuck
video on the heptology or
Yes.
Heptatic structure, something like
thank
that.
you. Yes, I know. That's perfect.
It
Let's
might
pull that
it
up.
might be too long, but I thought it might be a
Nah,
repetition.
it's perfect. If for those that haven't seen it, it's a perfect time to show them. I love it. Let me find it here, guys. It's the really, really long one, I think. Right here. Hold that thought.
Yeah, if it's too long, maybe I could
Nah.
review it and then tell you, like, give you some timestamp, so that way you can just.
I've got it pretty much queued already from the last time I was there, so it'd be worth it. I'm in no rush to do anything else today, so let's do share video. Oh, that's the way I gotta do it. Sorry for the delay. I have no control of the volume of the video, so it is what it is.
I have some other things. I want the number of.
Let me back up a little bit here. This should be good. Close enough, guys.
Father, we thank you for who you are, and we thank you for bringing us together. And we do pray, Father, that your Spirit would open our hearts and lives to how you would best use us in the days ahead.
I got
as we
video.
Commit ourselves into your hands. In the name of Yeshua, HaMashiach, our Lord Jesus, our Messiah indeed. Amen. Well, we're in the second part of some of these explorations of what I call hidden treasures in the biblical text. But I'd like to pause with a little exercise. I want you to, at least in your imagination, assume you have a pad in front of you, and I want to talk a little bit about sevens in the Bible. And they occur in over 600 passages. I probably should have said 700. Some are very overt. Some are structural. You really have to.
Is anyone talking right now? Because I can't hear anything.
But the sevens are everywhere. In fact, there's a discovery that I want to touch on about called the heptatic.
Is there anyone else who can't hear the video?
It's not even playing for me.
Anyone
Well,
else?
I can't hear it. I cannot hear it.
I can hear it and see it.
Maybe close out and rejoin the session. I don't know. I don't know why it would work for some and not others.
Well, I'm on a computer, and obviously Jay is on a computer.
And I'm on a computer.
But these other guys are probably on a cell phone, I assume.
Yeah. Well, that
I can
stinks.
hear him through my cell phone.
Okay. Tab says she can hear it through her cell phone.
Well, it's probably an Android. They probably got iPhones.
Well,
I think I have to click play for it to do it, so it's not going to stream at the same time everybody else is watching it.
You can just put your phone down and come in here, Kaylee.
There we go.
But the rest of them we'll have to figure out.
Good idea.
Structure of the Bible. I want you to imagine a challenge. Imagine yourself being assigned in that classroom context with a blank sheet of paper. And what I want you to imagine, you don't have to literally do it, but I want you in
I
your
still
mind's
can't
eye
hear it.
to accept an assignment to create a genealogy. You can
Oh,
do it
somebody
for
has me
fiction if you
muted.
like. But I want the number of words that you're going to end up using to be divisible by 7.
I can.
In other words, if you
You're not
well,
muted.
however
I can
when
hear
you
you and
finish
see you,
making your little
Tina.
genealogy,
Oh, it says it's
you
muted,
count the
and I can't
words
see
and divide.
myself either, but I can't hear it. Is your video on?
Yeah, the video's playing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should just stop the video.
Trial and error.
Yep. It was a good idea, but still some bugs in that, obviously. Dang you, free program. But it's a really good video. I'm going to copy it and put it in the group chat so you can always watch it later. Oh, Soph says her Wi-Fi no worky.
How do you, I mean, if we're putting this on YouTube, is it better to just do a YouTube platform where everybody jumps on and then, because it seems to work fine for people that I watch on YouTube?
No, not a good idea.
You can like share screens and stuff, but I haven't figured out how to share, like, if I play a video, like, you guys won't be able to hear it in the chat, but it'll play, like over my stream. So yeah, I haven't figured it out all yet either. And then StreamYard, I think, will only allow like 6 people in a room at a time unless you pay for it. And then I think you can get like up to 10. I've seen at least 10, but I don't know how much further it goes after that.
But yes, you're right, Kaylee. This is already streaming on YouTube. So all you have to do is go to Jeremy's live stream versus joining in Jitsi to watch it. But to interact and be part of the stream, you have to be within Jitsi because that's part of what the OBS stream that Jeremiah is doing or Jeremy's doing.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to listen to the audio from the stream, but my stream is so far behind right now because my upload is simply not working at the moment. So I'm going to try and figure that out after we get done. I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
just
it'd be
fix a
nice
restart or something.
if we were on some type of platform or group setting where we could all play a video and we could actually have the sound.
Right.
Because when I did push play, I couldn't even hear it.
Yeah. Discord, I think you can share your screen and it will play the sound. It's like if we were all in Discord, we could probably do it that way, but yeah, I haven't figured everything out yet. I'll do some.
Well, they haven't even figured everything out yet. It's kind of more of a complicated thing to sync all of that. I don't really even know how anybody does it successfully.
Right.
Well, I did spend 6 hours setting up my own Discord group. So, and no one's using it. So
I didn't even get an invite to this Discord group. I just want to throw that out there.
What'd you say?
I said I didn't even get an invite to this supposed Discord group, so I'm just going to throw that out there. I thought it was women only.
It was,
yeah,
but no one's even using it. So, I mean, I could, clean it up and make it for the Shabbat gathering if it ended up working. I know that the voice calls work well, but
Right,
I haven't seen anyone use it. I haven't seen anyone use a screen or videos.
Gotcha.
I
But
think
it's usually just for phone calls.
we should definitely play with that. Discord, that is.
I had to go get slime out of the car. What are we talking about?
I guess we
Discord,
could probably
sharing video and audio.
We could probably talk about this off screen
For sure.
afterwards.
Sounds work related. Guys, come on.
So the Haftarah portion is 1 Kings chapter 1 through 31. So let me get that pulled up. Oop, I just closed out of my eSword. Take 2. But yeah, Discord is the next thing to try.
It seems like everything was working fine earlier until your screen just automatically shut off, and then it and then it said Dustin shut his screen off to save bandwidth or something like that. And then ever since then, it hasn't worked right.
So maybe we could do a take two, me dropping out and getting back in.
Yeah, and if we don't want to keep fighting with it, maybe that would be a good idea.
There's Kings.
Because I can't even see your screen now again if it's supposed to be on there.
Yeah, let's see what's going on. Come on, mouse. There. Oh, yeah, I stopped sharing my screen when I stopped the video and never did start showing eSword yet.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I can see that.
All right. 1 through 31. And Sovereign David was old, advanced in years, and they covered him with garments, but he could not get warm. So a servant said to him, "Let them seek for our master, the sovereign, a young woman, a maiden, and she shall stand before the sovereign and be his companion, and shall lie in your bosom, so that our master, the sovereign, gets warm." And they sought for a beautiful young woman in all the border of Israel, and they found Abishag, the Shunammite, and brought her to the sovereign. And the young woman was very beautiful, and she was a companion for the sovereign, and served him, but the sovereign did not know her. And Adoniah, son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, "I reign." And he prepared for himself a chariot and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. Now his father had not worried him at any time by saying, "Why have you done so?" He was also very good looking, and he was born after Absalom. And he talked with Joab, son of Saruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they supported Adoniah. But Zadok the priest, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei, and Rei, and the mighty men who belonged to David were not with Adoniah. And Adoniah slaughtered sheep and cattle and fatlings by the stone of Zoheleth, which is by Enrogel. He also invited all his brothers, the sovereign's sons, and all the men of Yehuda, servants of the sovereign. But he did not invite Nathan the prophet, or Benaiah, or the mighty men, or Shalomah his brother. Nathan then spoke to Bathsheba, the mother of Shalomah, saying, "Have you not heard that Adoniah, son of Haggith, has become sovereign, and David our master does not know it? And now, come, let me give you advice, and deliver your own life and the life of your son Shalomah. Go immediately to sovereign David, and say to him, 'Did you not, my master, O sovereign, swear to your female servant, saying, Certainly your son Shalomah shall reign after me, and he shall not sit on my throne? Why then has Adoniah become sovereign? Look, while you are still speaking there with the sovereign, let me come in after you and confirm your words." And Bathsheba went into the room of the sovereign. Now the sovereign was very old, and Abishag the Shunammite was serving the sovereign. And Bathsheba bowed and did not obeisance to the sovereign. And the sovereign said, "What do you wish?" And she said to him, "My master, you swore by Yahuwah your Elohim to your female servant, saying, Certainly, Shalomah, your son shall reign after me. He shall sit on my throne. And now look, Adoniah has become a sovereign, and now my master, the sovereign, you do not know about it. And he has slaughtered great numbers of bulls and fatlings and sheep, and has invited all the sons of the sovereign, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the commander of the army, but he did not invite Shalomah your servant. And you, my master, O sovereign, the eyes of Israel are on you, to declare to them who is going to sit on the throne of my master, the sovereign, after him. Otherwise it shall be, when my master, the sovereign, rests with his fathers, that I and my son Shalomah shall be considered sinners." And see, while she was still speaking with the sovereign, Nathan the prophet also came in. So they informed the sovereign, saying, "Here is Nathan the prophet." And when he came in before the sovereign, he bowed down before the sovereign with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, "My master, O sovereign, have you said, Adoniyahu shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne? For he has gone down today, and has slaughtered great numbers of bulls and fatlings and sheep, and has invited all the sovereign sons and the commanders of the army, and Abiathar the priest. And look, they are eating and drinking before him, and they say, Let sovereign Adoniyahu live. But he has not invited me your servant, nor Zadok the priest, nor Benayahu son of Jehoiada, nor your servant Shalomah. If this matter is from my master the sovereign, then you did not let your servant know who should sit on the throne of my master the sovereign after him." And sovereign David answered and said, "Call Bathsheba to me." So she came into the sovereign's presence and stood before the sovereign. And the sovereign took an oath and said, "As Yahuwah lives, who has ransomed my life out of all distress, even as I swore to you by Yahuwah Elohim of Yisrael, saying, Certainly Shalomah your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne in my place, even as so I do this day." And Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did obeisance to the sovereign, and said, "Let my master and sovereign David live forever." Wow. I was wondering if it said an age for David, but it didn't. Any insight, anybody? Any thoughts?
He was definitely old. It says David in his old age, advanced
Yeah.
years. Just trying to be a smart aleck.
Thanks, buddy.
I thought it was interesting that he sent out like 50 people in the beginning. You know, the Jubilee, or 5 being grace.
Hmm.
Zedek or Zadok the priest, like Jesus being the Melech the king, or Melchizedek. It's Melech and Sadek like put together.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So it's kind of like the set apart priest, or yeah. Anyways, he's got half of Melchizedek like in his name. He's the Sedek part. Zadok.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then we've got all these weird names, and then Nathan.
Might as well be like Todd.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yep. Anyways, that was some of my funny thoughts while we were listening to you read. Stumble through all those names. Not that I
Yeah,
would have been any
right.
better.
You're welcome for that.
Yeah.
It does say here the life of Sarah was 127 years. All right, well, let's see what's next.
Right, it's too quiet without Donna. We need all of her wisdom in here.
Matthew 1 through 17. All right. right, through 17. The book of genealogy of Yeshua HaMashiach, son of David, son of Abraham. Abraham brought forth Yitzchak, and Yitzchak brought forth Jacob, and Jacob brought forth Yehuda and his brothers, and Yehuda brought forth Peretz and Zara by Tamar, and Peretz brought forth Hetzron, and Hetzron brought forth Ram, and Ram brought forth Aminadab, and Aminadab brought forth Nahshon, and Nahshon brought forth Salmon, and Salmon brought forth Boaz by Rahab, and Boaz brought forth Obed by Ruth, and Obed brought forth Yeshi, and Yeshi, I believe Jesse, brought forth David, yes, and Jesse brought forth David the sovereign, and David the sovereign brought forth Shalomah by Uriah's wife, and Shalomah brought forth Rehoboam, and Rehoboam brought forth Abiah, and Abiah brought forth Asa, and Asa brought forth Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat brought forth Joram, and Joram brought forth Uzziah, and Uzziah brought forth Jotham, and Jotham brought forth Ahaz, and Ahaz brought forth Hizkiyahu, and Hizkiyahu brought forth Manasseh, and Manasseh brought forth Ammon, and Ammon brought forth Yoshayahu, and Yoshayahu brought forth Jeconiah, and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babel. And after the exile to Babel, Jeconiah brought forth Shealtiel, and Shealtiel brought forth Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel brought forth Abihud, and Abihud brought forth Eliakim, and Eliakim brought forth Azor, and Azor brought forth Zadok, and Zadok brought forth Akim, and Akim brought forth Elihud, and Elihud brought forth Eleazar, and Eleazar brought forth Mattan, and Mattan brought forth Jacob, and Jacob brought forth Joseph, the husband of Miriam, of whom was born Yeshua, who is called Messiah. So all the generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations, and from David until the exile to Babel were 14 generations, and from the exile to Babel until the Messiah were 14 generations. Yeah, it would have been really handy to have that Chuck Missler video from earlier, because it breaks down the heptology or heptatic structure of the scripture using the genealogy of Jesus Christ here is in Matthew. But there's all these different principles that apply to it, rules, if you will, like, every noun has to be divisible by 7, and I don't know. I can't remember even a few of them at
It
this
was
point.
wild.
But
There was so many rules of sevens. It was like the consonants were divisible by 7, the vowels were divisible by 7, the words were divisible by 7. Yeah, it was
this
a lot.
Ivan,
It was a lot just in
this
the
Ivan
genealogy.
Pennon's work, man, it was really deep. Like it even shows these characteristics in the Greek and not just Hebrew.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's even crazier to add that sort of complexity to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, look up Chuck Missler, Hidden Treasures of the Bible, and to jump straight to it, you've got to go to like the 50-minute marker, and that'll get you there. So
Yep. I linked it in the description of the YouTube video in case anybody wants to check it out later. For
perfect,
those not watching live.
gotcha.
And then of course anybody in here has already got it. Or I can throw it into the chat group, like outside of Jitsi, if we need it. But anyway, it's saved. We'll be able to find
Nice.
it easily.
What
Yeah,
I'd like
I
to point
said,
out is how Rahab and Ruth were
Gentiles.
they were from the nations, and they were grafted in because
and
of their
become,
actions and how
Mhm.
they followed God in the covenant. And so
and
I
this
like that.
happened, like I don't know. It's just more examples of everyone being grafted into Israel. I mean, even Abraham,
Oh yeah.
and his father. I don't know. Was his father? What was his name? Tered or something like that? Torah.
Yeah, Torah.
I say Tara.
All right. 1 Corinthians 15, 50 through 57. Go ahead and jump to that. 16. All right, I've got it pulled up here. Can everybody see it? Make sure that I'm still sharing.
I can see it.
All right. In this I say, brothers, that flesh and blood is unable to inherit the reign of Elohim, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. See, I speak a secret to you. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible has to be put on incorruption, and this mortal to be put on immortality. And when this corruptible has put on incorruption, and this mortal has put on immortality, then shall come to be the word that has been written. Death is swallowed up in overcoming. O death, where is your sting? O Sheol, where is your overcoming? And the sting of death is the sin, and the power of the sin is the Torah. But thanks to Elohim, who gives us the overcoming through our Master Yeshua Messiah. Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always excelling in the work of the Master, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Master. Yikes,
There's a time qualifier here. It says,
Uh-huh.
in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable, and we shall be changed.
See, there it is. It proves post-rapture, post-trib rapture.
Last trumpet.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Where do I find that word rapture at in the Bible, guys? Where is that like?
Isn't it Carpazzo or
I think it's harpazo.
Harpazzo?
Yeah, that's
I knew
right.
I was saying that incorrectly.
Yeah. There's one. I want to say it's Isaiah 66. It might be 65. It does say snatched away. Of course, that's Hebrew. It's not going to be harpazo. Maybe in the Septuagint.
All right. Chapter verse, please, Deezer. Chapter verse.
20-ish, maybe. Yeah, there we go. 17, verse 17, snatched away together.
Aha.
Yeah, that snatched away is, I mean, that's what they say rapture is, like to snatch away. So if maybe in the Greek it will say harpazo, but you don't have the Greek Old Testament on here.
Oh, yeah, I've got to show dictionaries to see it, dum-dum. Suf, primitive root to snatch away, that is terminate, consume, have an end, perish. So that's a little bit different than being snatched away to everlasting life. This is being snatched as like, you're going to be burnt.
Yeah.
I was disconnected.
Uh-oh.
What did I miss?
We pulled up Isaiah 66:17 in the Hebrew where it says shall be consumed, and in reference to some translations mention snatched up. Well, in the King James, it's consumed, and when we pull that up on dictionary, it is suf, a primitive root to snatch away, that is terminate, consume, have an end, perish. That's not like the snatched away, like everlasting life and, with Jesus. That sounds opposite of with Jesus.
Did you say Isaiah 66:18?
17.
17.
Yeah, Dustin wanted to know where the rapture was in the Bible, and yeah, that harpazo is like caught up or snatched away or something like that.
Yeah, harpazo is Strong's 726, and it says to seize, carry off by force, to seize on, claim for oneself eagerly, and to snatch out or away.
Yeah, looking here at the Brenton Nun Masoretic, it's worded pretty much the same. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens and eat swine's flesh in the porches, and the abominations and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
And then it's somewhere in Thessalonians. It's either First or Second Thessalonians 4 or 5 that I think is where
Oh, the rapture verse,
yeah, like
the twinkling of an eye verse.
the
It's
quote unquote
First
rapture.
Thessalonians chapter 12, I think. Let's pull it up.
Well, in
Nope,
Isaiah
it's not.
66:15, I think it's kind of indicating the day of the Lord, because it says, "For behold, the Lord will come in fire, and his chariots like the whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For the Lord will execute judgment by fire, and by his sword on all flesh, and those slain by the Lord will be many." And then it goes on into 17.
Yeah,
Nice.
Isaiah 66 is clearly Revelation language. Jesus
Mm.
comes back with a sword and flames in his eyes
Yeah, it talks
and his
about like the
armies
beginning.
yeah, I mean it's almost like word for word exactly what's in Revelation, and then people will still say, "Oh, that's completely different," and it's like, really? We've got a sword, we've got Jesus coming with his armies and wrath and fire, like literally everything that's mentioned in Isaiah 66 being mentioned in Revelation altogether. But yeah, it's definitely not talking about the same thing.